Hey guys, it's Jordan here with Koda's Canine Academy, and what I wanted to show you guys today are a couple things that I do to help my old man out, Bruce. Because Bruce, just like a lot of older dogs, he is starting to have some issues with his hips. He also had some minor knee injuries when he was a little bit younger, so that has not helped the cause. Every now and then he starts getting real locked up and he's not comfortable, and his normal joint supplements and stuff like that just really aren't doing the trick. So what I'll do is some really simple lengthening and stretching exercises, as well as some really simple massage techniques. So I thought I would go ahead and kind of show you guys those, just in case you have a dog who's struggling with the same, and maybe you can offer them just a little bit of relief. So the first thing, I want to get this in a good spot so you guys can see his muscle. Okay. So the first thing I want to do, if possible, is I want to make sure that my dog is nice and relaxed. Obviously, if they're stressed out or they're like trying to flex or fight against you, it's going to make massaging them much more difficult, okay? But since we know that Bruce's primary areas of discomfort are from about here down, that's where I'm going to go ahead and focus. So the first thing I'm always going to do is I'm going to go along those muscles and all those tendons that are coming through his hip joint like this, okay? So what by doing this and just kind of using our fingers, can you relax for me, baby? Just a little bit more. There you go. So by taking our fingers and kind of rubbing it down the length of the muscle like this, not only are we encouraging blood flow and circulation into that muscle, but we're breaking up any potential scar tissue, and we're allowing for blood to get in there and start healing. So this first step is really just about muscle activation and lengthening. You can see back here, Bruce starts to get a little bit more uncomfortable. Let's try and put his leg in a spot that's cozy for him. One thing that's important to remember when you're working with a dog like this is that you're not a massage therapist, and your dog cannot tell you when it becomes too much. So always err on the side of caution, right? We never want to just start digging our fingers into their muscles or trying to hurt them or trying to give them massage the way that we would think that they want it, because they can't communicate to us if it is too much or if it hurts them. So we always want to start out gently and remember that we are doing this to increase their comfort, not decrease it. The next thing I'm going to do is just gently work my way like this. As you can see, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. All I'm doing is just really gently and very relaxed, trying to open up that hip a little bit, trying to get it to release a little bit. Bruce gets very locked up through his hips and through what would be his lower back. So again, we're just trying to loosen it up a little bit, and we're just encouraging that new muscle growth. I know that it looks like I'm pressing kind of hard, but I'm really not. I'm just trying to encourage some movement and get that blood flowing in there for him. He's also shedding like a crazy person right now because it decided to be sunshiny the last couple days. But so after we've kind of worked him up a little bit, one thing to remember about dogs who have suffered knee injuries is that their body is going to do what human bodies do and try to overcompensate for that injury by shifting the weight elsewhere. Very similar to humans, if you have a knee injury, it's almost always going to shift the weight into your glutes and your hamstrings. Hey, leave it. It's just a neighbor. It's just a neighbor. Leave it. So like I said, it's going to automatically shift the weight back into like your glutes and or your hamstrings to try to keep that tighter so that it doesn't increase the opportunity for pressure to be put on your knee. The same applies for our dogs. So if I'm feeling back here, I can see that all of these muscles on Bruce are extremely tight and tense, especially on like the inside portion. So again, I'm just lightly massaging to kind of loosen those up for him a little bit. The more tight they are back here, the more it's going to pull on their hip joint and the harder it's going to be for them to walk properly. Oh, hush. She's not bothering you. So again, I'm just casually kind of breaking that up a little bit, just encouraging that fresh blood flow in there. I don't know if you can see his leg trembling a little bit right here, but that's usually how I can tell where their really sensitive spots are. And again, I'm not squeezing as hard as I can. I'm just doing some light pinches and kind of using my hand to move it around a little bit and just continue to work it and make it a little bit looser. Another really good spot, especially for Bruce, is all the way up here in the hip joint. He gets very, very locked up in there. But you can see he obviously does not mind this. At first, I think because I was recording a video, he was a little bit nervous. He didn't understand what I was doing, but now he is pretty much completely relaxed. Good boy. But you can see even that little movement that I asked him to make right there put a lot of pressure on his hip. So I'm not going to ask him to do that very much, right? Another thing that I'm going to be very cautious of is if you know that your dog has knee injuries, again, I might do some of this just because scar tissue, especially in ligament or soft tissue injuries, can be one of the biggest things that limits your dogs. Scar tissue will literally just sit on that injured part and just continue to grow and grow and build on itself, which will reduce flexibility. It will increase pain, everything you can imagine. So we want to make sure that we're doing our best to not let that scar tissue just continue to build up and pile up. And then again, I might come back and do some more of like the strengthening, or not strengthening, lengthening stuff. A little more kneading. Get a little bit more of that relaxing in there. But yeah. So as you could see, all I was really trying to do there is increase the blood flow, kind of break up a little bit of that scar tissue, give them a little bit more of a lengthening feel. But what I'm not doing is I'm not kneading super hard into him. I'm not trying to dig knots out the way I would in a person, because my sweet boy here can't tell me when it's too hard, and I all want it to be beneficial to him. So those are just a couple little things that I do with Bruce to help try to like loosen up his hips a little bit. If you run down their spine, that's another good one. But those are just some things that I do with him to help loosen up his hips a little bit. And you know, if you have a dog that's struggling with mobility, I would highly encourage you to do the same. If anything, your dog will appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.